The Waves were a class of 2 fast fleet tankers built for the Royal Fleet Auxiliary, built to support Royal Navy logistics by providing fuel, munitions, as well as many other things like food and water to British warships deployed around the world. Both ships in the class were commissioned in 2003, expected to serve into the mid to late 2020s. But for several years now, both ships in the class have been non-operational, sitting in extended readiness, and now they are up for sale. This begs the question, what happened? The 2 vessels, Wave Knight and Wave Ruler, were built to replace the RFA's aging tankers, Olna and Olwen, which themselves had been in service since the 1960s. The 2 ships were intended for supporting Royal Navy warships, such as amphibious task groups, as well as the smaller frigates and destroyers, but they found themselves doing a lot of things outside their focal support role. This is mainly because of the enormous shrinkage of the Royal Navy's surface fleet going on at this time in the 2000s. This saw the Wave class sometimes operate independently on things like patrol operations in the North Atlantic, as well as counter-piracy missions in the Gulf. It's undeniable that these ships have had a wide spectrum of uses, which have been demonstrated around the world, ranging from supporting carrier and amphibious task groups to counter-narcotics patrols, and of course, humanitarian aid, which was demonstrated in 2021 by RFA Wave Knight in support of Haiti, following the devastating earthquake there. In 2017, the first of the Royal Fleet Auxiliary's new Tide-class tankers entered service. Although different in many ways, on simplistic terms, the Tide class is essentially a larger and far more modern version of the Wave class, built especially for supporting the Queen Elizabeth class of aircraft carriers. Although the Wave class could also theoretically support the new carriers, their smaller size and fuel capacity means that if it came down to picking one, the new Tide class ships would obviously be chosen for carrier strike groups. Resource and budgetary constraints in combination with the first of the Tides coming online in 2017 gave the perfect excuse for the Ministry of Defence to place Wave Knight in quote-unquote extended readiness from 2017, a full decade before her previously expected out-of-service date. Comparatively, Wave Ruler remained until 2022. The 2 ships were kept in extended readiness up until November 2024, when the government announced that they would be axed as part of a wider disposal of older British military assets. This decision was officially targeted at saving money for investments in newer areas of the military. Unlike the far more controversial choice to axe HMS Albion and Bulwark, the fate of the Wave class is a bit more logical, but not for the right reasons. The RFA has been grappling with an immense manpower shortage crisis. This is having impacts across the board. The RFA already struggles immensely to operate its active force. Operating Wave Knight and Wave Ruler on top of this would be virtually impossible, at least for the time being. Therefore, it's unlikely that the 2 ships would have went to sea by the time of their out-of-service date, which is confirmed by the MOD, who said that they weren't planned to be deployed within this time period. However, many would argue that they should be retained just in case. Getting rid of the 2 ships goes far beyond face value. It highlights the manpower shortages faced by the RFA, as well as being symbolic of the Navy's overall decline that these tankers are no longer necessary. What do you think about the Wave class? Do you agree with the choice to put them up for sale? Or should they have been kept in extended readiness just in case? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.